Edited by Romesh Peris and read by Chandima Virakon. The headlines. The President says his administration will enforce the law against all parties responsible for the tragic Easter Sunday attacks. The Premier, in his message to mark Easter Sunday, expresses hope that Sri Lankans will be able to coexist in peace and unity. Sri Lanka marks third Easter since 2019 bombings. The President holds discussions with key officials on the current situation. The Sri Lanka delegation leaves for the USA for IMF discussion next week. The Ministry of Defence reiterates that military forces will not be deployed to suppress democratically held peaceful protests. The Ministry of Education says the decision to extend the hours of government schools temporarily suspended. On news overseas, Russia warns US against further arming Ukraine. In sports news, it's cricket. Naveed Nawaz appointed assistant coach of national team. Local stories in detail. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa says his administration will enforce the law against all parties responsible for the tragic Easter Sunday attacks. Issuing a message to mark Easter Sunday, the head of state said the government is committed to ensuring justice to all victims of the incident by means of due and proper investigations. The President noted that Sri Lanka's Catholic community will be able to celebrate this Easter with its usual festive spirit after successfully controlling the global coronavirus pandemic. The Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa says this year's Easter Sunday will be a light that will get rid the dark powers in society. The Premier, in his message to mark Easter Sunday, expressed hope that the people of Sri Lanka will be able to coexist in peace and unity with love for one another. Christians world over celebrate Easter Sunday today. Easter Sunday marks Jesus Christ's resurrection from death as written in the Bible. Christians worldwide celebrate Easter special church services, music, candlelights, flowers, and the ringing of church bells. Easter processions are held in some countries. Many Christians view Easter as the greatest feast of the church year. Meanwhile, today marks the third Easter Sunday since the 2019 Easter Sunday attacks 3 years ago. The main Easter midnight mass was conducted by His Eminence Malcolm Cardinal Ranjit, Archbishop of Colombo, at St. Lucia's Cathedral in Cartagena. The President's Media Division said several rounds of discussions on current issues were held under the patronage of President Gotabaya Rajapaksa on Saturday. The Finance Minister Ali Sabri, Central Bank Governor Dr. Nandalal Veerasinghe, State Minister Shahan Semasinghe, Secretary to the President Gamini Senarath, Principal Advisor to the President Lalit Veeratunga, and Secretary to the Ministry of Finance KMM Sirivadana were present at the first discussion. Another discussion was held with the officials from the Ministries of Finance, Energy and Health. Issuing a press release, the Ministry of Defence has responded to the Facebook note of Field Marshal Sarath Fonseca addressing the Secretary of Defence and Chief of Defence Staff and Commander of the Army's purported plans of suppress democratically held peaceful protests. The Secretary of Defence emphasized that there are no such plans to abuse military power to suppress peaceful protesters. However, the press release noted that the military will assist the police if only such assistance is sought by the police to defend the nation, uphold the constitution, and restore the peace and order among all Sri Lankans in the event of a resurrection. Secretary of Defence, together with Tri-Forces commanders, reiterated their commitment to acting in a fair and impartial manner with integrity and respect, stating that the Tri-Forces and the police will responsibly do their utmost to protect the rule of law, order and people of the country in accordance with the constitution of the country. This news comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Continuing with the local stories, The Minister of Education, Dinesh Gunawardena, says that the decision to extend school hours by 1 hour has been temporarily suspended. Schools under the purview of the government had previously been instructed to extend the daily school hours by 1 hour for the academic term, commencing from April 18th. However, the minister said that a decision has now been taken to temporarily suspend that move. Meanwhile, the Education Minister said that first school term of the year 2022 of all government schools will resume tomorrow, the April 18th. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs confirmed that actor and comedian Bandhu Samarasinghe will not be appointed the Consul General in Milan, Italy. The ministry issued a statement to clarify claims made through posts on social media. Earlier, veteran singer Neela Wickramasinghe was appointed as the Consul General of Sri Lanka in Milan. The post remains vacant after her demise. To end the local news, the headlines again. The President says his administration will enforce the law against all parties responsible for tragic Easter Sunday attacks. The Premier, in his message to mark Easter Sunday, expresses hope that Sri Lankans will be able to coexist in peace and unity. Sri Lanka marks third Easter since 2019 bombings. The President holds discussions with key officials on the current situation. The Sri Lanka delegation leaves for the USA for IMF discussion next week. The Ministry of Defence reiterates that military forces will not be deployed to suppress democratically held peaceful protests. The Ministry of Education says the decision to extend the hours of government schools temporarily suspended. That ends the local news. Moving on to the main news. A delegation including Finance Minister Ali Sabri, Central Bank Governor Dr. Nandalal Veerasinghe and Finance Ministry Secretary Mahinda Sirivadana left the country this morning to participate in discussions with the International Monetary Fund. Accordingly, they will hold discussions at IMF headquarters in Washington, D.C., USA. The talks are scheduled to take place from April 19th to 24th. That ends the main news story. And on Watchlight, the Army has urged the public not to be misled by false reports claiming there is an attempt by the military to launch an assault on protesters in Colombo. Issuing a statement, the Army said that it has been brought to their notice that certain interested parties were giving misleading and contrary interpretations and propagating baseless, unfounded and provocative allegations. The Army said that such allegations aim to discredit and tarnish the image of the Army as well as its dedicated members serving across the island. That ends Watchlight.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
No matter what anyone says, for your lease, visit the Leasing Mahagedara. People's Leasing, Friendly Leasing Mahagedara. More information from the nearest People's Leasing branch.
People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
Headlines of the world news. Russia warns US against further arming Ukraine. The UK Prime Minister to visit India next week. Prince Charles remembers victims of war in Easter message. Russia has sent a formal diplomatic note to the Biden administration warning the US against further arming Ukraine. The note, sent to the State Department, revealed Moscow's irritation with President Biden's decision to continue to approve arms transfers as the conflict shifts to eastern Ukraine. Secretary of State Antony Blinken has previously described the strategy as part of a plan to increase Kyiv's leverage at the negotiating table in an effort to eventually find a negotiated end to the conflict. The United Kingdom Prime Minister Boris Johnson will arrive in India for a 2-day visit from April 21st to 22nd. Speaking ahead of the visit, Johnson said his visit to India will deliver on the things that really matter to the people of both nations, from job creation and economic growth to energy security and defense. This will be his first visit to India as Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. The two sides adopted a 10-year roadmap, Roadmap 2030, in the India-UK Virtual Summit held in May 2021 to expand ties in the key areas of trade and economy, defence and security, climate change and people-to-people connections. Prince Charles has highlighted the suffering of the innocent victims of the conflict in his Easter message. The Prince of Wales said he was heartbroken at the plight of those forced to flee their homes due to conflict and persecution. It follows the Russian invasion of Ukraine, which has seen millions of people flee the country. He also said he was profoundly moved by those ready to open their homes to people in need. Back to the headlines of the world news. Russia warns US against further arming Ukraine. The UK Prime Minister to visit India next week. Prince Charles remembers victims of war in Easter message. That ends the world news.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
For your wheel lease, visit the Leasing Mahagedara. People's Leasing, friendly leasing Mahagedara. More information from the nearest People's Leasing branch.
People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
Development News is brought to you by... Let's take coal out of the coconut tree and make the island thriving and prosperous. Call our hotline 1928. WhatsApp 070 400 1928.
And on development news, Colombo International Container Terminals excelled recently at the Global Ports Forum Awards 2021 and was awarded the title of the Most Efficient Terminal Operator of the Year 2021. The award recognizes an international port or terminal operator that has achieved exceptional excellence in terminal efficiency by enhancing capacity and productivity through sustainable and consistent growth, while also providing high quality of service and value additions to customers. That ends the development news.
Development News was brought to you by... The coconut tree is well grown in almost all the parts of the island. It is an exceptional source of extra income. The shell, the husk and almost all the parts of the coconut tree makes you money, providing you with an excellent extra source of income. It will also help to nourish the economy of the country. You will be guided with all necessary informations regarding the coconut cultivation, with the novel cultivation techniques and all other related and upgraded informations by the Coconut Research Institute, Lunavilla. Call our hotline 1928. WhatsApp 070 400 1928.
Sports News is brought to you by
Sampath Bank. We present your future.
And it's cricket on sports news. The former Sri Lanka Test and ODI player Navid Nawaz has been appointed as the assistant coach of the national cricket team. Issuing a statement, Sri Lanka Cricket said Nawaz was appointed for a 2-year term, effective from 1st April 2022. Before taking over the new role, Nawaz was functioning as the head coach of the Bangladesh team Under-19, where he led the team to an ICC Under-19 Cricket World Cup win in 2020. His first competitive assignment with the national team will be the upcoming Sri Lanka tour of Bangladesh, which will also be the first assignment of the newly appointed head coach Chris Silverwood. That ends the sports news.
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U Trust.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Homeland Skyline Private Limited broke ground for the next generation project, Oceana Beach Resort Apartments, Wadua, on March 31st, which added this 17-acre development to its portfolio of properties. The groundbreaking of Oceania was a pivotal event in Sri Lanka's real estate market and a crucial milestone in apartment living. In recognition of its world-class standards and superior facilities offered in all construction projects, Homeland's Skyline was awarded as the best developer in Sri Lanka at the Asia Property Awards 2021 and received the prestigious status of A, LKA stable by Fitch Ratings for its solid financial stability. That ends Business News.
Business News, sponsored by
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U Trust.
Moving on to the economic news, the Security and Exchange Commission of Sri Lanka has directed the Colombo Stock Exchange to temporarily close the stock market for a period of 5 business days, commencing from the